Hey, this is John Paris and Eddie M. We're back to basics.
And Musicians Reveal with Joe Kelley.
Kelly.
Let's go.
My next guests here on Musicians Reveal with Joe Kelley, two tremendous world-class musicians who have been friends since childhood. They have toured and recorded with the likes of Earth, Wind and Fire, Prince, Sheila E., Patti LaBelle, Karen White, Jesse Johnson, Bob Dylan, and many, many more. We could spend like the first 10 minutes reeling off those names, but we're really honored to have drummer John Paris, saxophonist, vocalist Eddie Minifield, Eddie M. Back to basics. Yes. That is their band and to the roots and great musicians. Thanks to have you brothers on. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Thank you, man. So much. So good to be here. Thank you, brother Joe.
Yeah, I really appreciate you guys coming on. And let me go back to how far you guys have known each other. I know John was born in Trent, New Jersey. I was born in Orange, but I didn't spend a lot of time there.
Hey,
but
congratulations.
I always make a joke because I was born in Orange, but I lived in Newark. I said it was I grew up on the mean streets of Newark.
There we go.
I only spent 2 years there, my first 2 years.
That's right.
Yeah. But the Bay Area, how did Eddie and John, how did you first meet each other and get this musical bond and friendship?
I'll let John start when he came to the Bay Area because I was born and raised in the Bay.
Yeah.
You tell him.
Well, I came to the Bay in '71. I want to believe, from New Jersey because I was doing stupid stuff, and they got me out of there. And that's one of the first things I noticed was, of course, the diversity in the Bay Area. I mean, it was just a melting pot of nationalities and culture and great music on every street corner. There's music everywhere.
Right.
And so I got very curious because there was some similarities going on, particularly with the Afro-Cuban stuff. So I just started snooping around at an early age. And by the time I got to high school, the word was out. The baddest jazz band in California is at Berkeley High. So we would always go, I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but a few of us, Jay Logan and Bonnie Boyer, we used to always
Bonnie Boyer, yeah,
and get on the bus and go up to Berkeley High and hang out and watch that incredible band of musicians, man, they were too young to be that good. It was amazing. And I always tell Eddie, he doesn't probably remember, but I saw this guy stand up and take this solo and it just blew me away. And he just stood up and played his butt off like it was nothing. We were all like, did y'all just hear? He did that. So I low key started stalking him and found out that they were in this show band that I loved. The band I was in, we were, trying to be fusion cats, but I grew up, with show band kind of a concept, and Eddie and those guys had a really, really good show band. I just started following them around and introduced myself and hoping he wouldn't think I was weird. But hey man, you sound like Maceo. James Brown is my favorite. Waited. It's like, and he said the same thing back. So I was like, okay, we just clicked right away, man. So
right. So back then, when you're in your young teens, right, or in high school, in your mind, what is the goal? What are you thinking? Did you have aspirations of any huge stars? Like, I want to tour the world and be a musician, or what was going through your mind back then?
We wanted to be Earth, Wind and Fire.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
That was it. I thought John actually went to the same high school I was in, Berkeley High, because I would see him so often, right?
Right.
I was like, I wonder, maybe he's cutting class and something. Why are we hanging out? But, I would see him all the time. So, but as we started getting to know each other, we just kind of I admired his playing because I knew he was in another top 40 band. So I begged him to leave this band and play in my band. I was like, man, begged him. I've given him rides to the BART station and the train station out here. And like, man, please, man, just go to Japan with me, man. We were going to Japan. So at any rate, make a long story short, I went over to Japan. This was a few years after we had met, and I came back, and he decided to join. Him and a guy named Cat Gray, which Cat Gray played with Sheila as well.
Right.
He was a keyboard player with Sheila. Now he's on Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady and all that kind of stuff. But
okay, yeah.
At any rate, we started very young together. And when he joined the band, everything just opened up for us. We just started being creative. We started placing music on people like groups like Confunction. We had our own top 40 band that was, pretty huge in the Bay Area. And at the same time, John was playing with Sheila part-time. And, and then Sheila would come and see our shows all the time. So she became kind of like, a follower of our band, All Is One. Her and her brother, Peter Michael.
That's right.
So
and you guys are, young, just about to turn 20 and maybe even a little younger than that, right? Back then.
Oh yeah. We're about 19. At this point, we're about 19 to 20 years old at that point.
Right.
But so we just kind of hung tight. We was going to all Earth, Wind & Fire concerts to answer your question. Anytime they came to Oakland, we were there. I don't know to this day how we was there, but we were there together.
You got in the house.
We were in, we didn't really know a whole bunch of people on Earth, Wind & Fire. I don't know, but we was pretty close every year. So we were, and we go back to our rehearsal spots and try and emulate what we seen or heard, and so we were big time fans. Never had an idea we'd be hanging out, meeting them, or John tour with them, and we worked with pretty much all of them individually at one point, through our careers,
Now I got to ask the drummer John Paris, when Earth, Wind & Fire, when Maurice came up front to sing, who was playing drums back then?
Ralph, actually. Ralph Johnson.
Ralph was playing drums. Okay.
First, and
okay.
Brother Fred came later, but Ralph was playing. I think even before they changed the name, Reese was up front. I forget who the drummer was in, but Ralph, the original 9 as we know now, Ralph was playing.
Yeah. I had this was years ago on radio. I had Larry Dunn, Sheldon Reynolds, and Mo Pleasure come on the show. The three of them had, I think it was Enchanted Spirits, or the album.
Yes.
Yeah. Real nice guys. Yeah.
I had a great time. I actually did a couple of shows with them, man. That was so much fun.
Okay. Yeah.
Larry Dunn and Mo Pleasure together, boy. Woo!
Yeah. Sheldon, yeah.
Bobby Watson was playing bass. So it was fun. We had a ball.
Yeah, so let's move on to that connect. You spoke on the connection of Earth, Wind & Fire, and Verdine White is an important person in both your lives. And I'm going to ask Eddie about Verdine taking you into his mentorship, I believe, before you hooked up with the Paisley and the Minneapolis crew.
Yeah, that was very interesting because, as I spoke about earlier, John had been working with Sheila, but then he branched off. And his first tour he went on was with the group O'Brien. So,
O'Brien, yeah. Okay. Were you on that Soul Train hit with him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was just talking to O'Brien the other night.
When?
Yeah. Well, on email.
Oh, okay. I owe him a couple of calls. I got to call.
He said he's coming on the show in a month or two or something. I never had him on. Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be fun. I'm glad I'm out ahead of him, though.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Tell some stuff.
So we basically, Verdine had called me and two friends of mine, Larry White, who used to be with the Whispers, and a big group called Collage. He did a lot of stuff with Solar Records, and Kurt Crumpler was a bass player with Collage and was associated with, they were signed to Solar Records, but somehow, well, Verdine was good friends with Larry White, so they called us down. Verdine and Larry Dunn had their big production team back then. So they called us to come to LA and do some writing and stuff. So that was really my first, major situation outside of home base, And so people always get confused because they want to attach me to everything. Prince was my beginning, Sheila was my beginning, and that's not so true. Right. It was close to my beginnings, but John was on tour, and I don't know how, to this day, we still can't figure out how he found me, but I was in a hotel in Sherman Oaks. And I'll never forget 777 hotel right there in Sherman Oaks. And he found, we get a phone call in the hotel rooms. He's like, Eddie, man, Sheila's looking for you, man. Like, what? This is before Glamorous Life came out. It was about to come out. So I'm like, okay, well, we were familiar with Sheila, so she would come and hang out and see us all the time. So I'm like, oh, what does she want? I'm down here with Verdine White, man. What are you talking about? I'm with Earth, Wind & Fire people.
Right.
I was in a place where, man, okay, well, I'll call her. Man, just call her, man. John's like, I'll call her, man. When I get home, I'll be home with you. I'll call her. Little did I know the turnout would be me connecting with her and Prince on a major level. But when I got home, she kind of handpicked the band. She was really wanting John to be a part of it, but he was already contracted with O'Brien and Don Cornelius to finish the tour. He wasn't going to cross that line. So but that's how that came about. And the next thing you know, he was running around the country and playing. And came about.
And Eddie, I got to tell you, 41 years ago was the first time I ever saw you on a stage. Oh, I was at Toad's place in New Haven, Connecticut when we did those warm-up gigs. Yeah, I was there.
Place. Oh my God, that was I like that spot.
Yeah, and that was correct me if I'm wrong. That was around the time when Prince showed up at the Cincinnati gig you were playing.
Yep.
And jumped on stage. I think it was Bogart's, right?
Wow. I think it was Bogart's.
Yeah. So there was all that rumors like, oh, Prince is going to be here, and that. But we would have gone and see anyways because we went to see Elisha. But
he would always do these little pop-ups. But that was basically our like get used to the road tour. It was like was us out there because we had never been out as a band. And he also sent us to Europe and to break us in and get ready. But yeah, he would pop out Cincinnati, and I think.
Oh, New York, you did. He popped up on stage. You did New York.
Yeah, that wasn't. Was it the Ritz? I believe.
I think so. Maybe.
Yeah, he would pop out, in different places unannounced.
And now it's Webster Hall.
Oh,
they changed the name. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So it was a pretty intense experience, and within all of that, that's how the Prince thing took off, and it went from.
So I gotta ask John about that. Okay, you had the contract with Don Cornelius Productions and also O'Brien. When Eddie starts hitting the road and jumps right into the Purple Rain tour, were you telling him, just give me some time? Can I jump back on the tour? Were you bugging him?
Man, yes. Man, when our tour ended, I was at home watching them on TV. Like,
why did I just?
But the cool thing about it though was hanging out with O'Brien and all of them. We still had a lot of our friends from the Bay, and in fact, Levi was there before he went with Sheila. Cat was there. Romy Geroso, Melvin Davis playing. I mean, we had a lot of the same connection.
Right.
And the cool thing about it, was we went straight from 4-track Tascam to the 24 tracks at Larrabee. And O'Brien was probably the most pleasant taskmaster that I've ever worked with.
Wow.
He was like like Phil Jackson, he knew how to speak to each individual to, ignite what he saw in them. And to this day, I always tell him, man, I appreciate him for accepting me the way he did, because there was some things going on, with musicians, and Don was like, nope, I don't want him. Don was kind of like really the puppet master and all of that.
Yeah, right.
And, we got in there, man, right away and went to work, and we, all of us, we were kind of like, you hear the story about Michael Jackson pushing buttons and asking questions and getting our hands slapped. We were right in like that. And O'Brien had the experience back then that we did. And he let us, and Don too, to his credit, really showed us how to record records, because it was a different thing. It's a different animal than live, for sure.
So going back to those Soul Train performances, this for me, or maybe some of our viewers and listeners, who else was in that band besides you and O'Brien on the Soul Train performances and the tuxedos and everything?
Love Light, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, the Love Light. Yeah.
Yeah. So we had Melvin Davis. That was our musical director. Melvin's incredible musician. Yeah. Carl Denson was playing saxophone. Carl Denson, Hunter, playing.
He played with Soul Live, right?
Yeah. And Lenny, they both went with Lenny after that. Romy Giroso on guitar. Michael Norfleet was playing keys and singing. So we had a fun unit. We had two guitars. Levi actually was our second guitar player.
Oh, okay.
He didn't do that performance. Don put Carl on guitar for some reason.
I remember that. Like, why is he playing guitar?
Yeah, and that's actually where we've all met Karen White.
Karen, really? Okay.
Background. Yeah, that's when we met on that tour. Getting experience. I wanted to use another word, opening for Cameo every night.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, we've seen Cameo a bunch of times, and they opened when they opened for Rick James. That I saw the double tour with that. Yeah,
man, they were so strong. It was incredible.
Wow.
I met three. I actually already knew Chuck Morris, who was playing with O'Brien before me. Chuck was playing, and then I met Sonny Emery and Rayford Griffin on one tour. Larry Blackman. Yeah, so I met Sonny back in '85. And he was really crazy then. They think he's crazy. He was really like Bruce Lee then. You gotta see this drummer. I'm like, oh man, I live in the Bay Area. I seen it all. No, you gotta see this guy. Yeah, sure enough, man. He was woo. But yeah, that experience, man. We were able to really learn the details and the intricacies of recording. What works and what didn't work, man. And I hug O'Brien's neck so hard every time I see him, because he has no idea how much that helped me in my later endeavors.
Yep.
Wow. With all the experience, both of you have been amongst all different types of musicians. Are there any musicians that you met for the first time or recorded for the first time that you were shaking in your boots a little bit?
Prince.
Prince, okay.
Ditto.
Yeah, he had me and Josh shaking our boots years ago. But
what was the first time you both individually met Prince, or was it collectively?
No, not collectively. No, John ended up joining Madhouse years after, and I was saying, man, be careful. I had already left. I had already been out of the camp by then. But yeah, my first encounter with him. Sheila put the band together, and we were rehearsing, and about a week into rehearsal, she tells us, "Oh, Prince is coming up, and he's going to spend a few days with us, getting our show together, getting our live show together." And I'm like, "Oh no," and really at that point, I wasn't really playing a lot of saxophone. I kind of went over and was doing lead vocals in me and John's band. And really not a whole bunch of keyboards, just a little bit. So the two main instruments that was my focus had to become, the dominant. And I was like shaking in my boots. But he came into rehearsal, and the first thing he said was, tomorrow, make sure you have tape recorders because I'm not going to remember it. And if you don't, it's going to be a problem.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So we, of course, did everything he said. And, and he just went through each song and changed it. He changed all what we learned from the original recordings. He just flipped it. He said, people want to hear the record, they can stay home. And we were like, man, really? So it's the thing with him. He was a lot of life lessons in the beginning, and things that I didn't understand then, but later on, it all made all the sense in the world. The main thing he told us, and I'll never forget this, and we talk about it all the time. He said, "You are no longer musicians in this room; you're actors."
Oh, okay.
Like, wow, I done spent all of my young life trying to be the best musician possible, and now I'm an actor? What is he talking about? And for sure, I learned that rather quickly diving in with him, So and John, going on to his encounter with him, John can tell you his first
Madhouse, yeah.
Man, it was mostly sign language for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, do your best. Do your best.
I had was it like 3 days, 2.5 days to learn 15 songs that were all numbers. No lyrics, you know. So, and they were instrumentals, man. And this was 3 sides, 3 songs per side. So they were long, and man, it was a lot going on. It's like, and I'm an audio learner, so I'm like, oh, I'm cool. I got this. I was like, I got 2 days. So they sent me the CD. I do the best I can, spend as much time as and of course, as soon as I walk in Paisley Park, and it all just started running together. I'm like, I have no idea what's what. So we play around a little bit, and I knew Levi, but it's my first time meeting Matt and Eric. Eric leads Matt.
Yeah. Matt Fink. Yeah.
Yeah. And the weird story, I saw Matt a couple years ago, just gave him a big hug because I hadn't seen him in forever. And, I was just being thankful to everybody for being so welcoming to me. And he was looking at me kind of strange, and because I was telling him what I went through to try to get to learn this material. And he said, man, you did the same thing to me. What? You would have never known. Because he was Matt. He was just he looked very comfortable to me.
Right.
I assumed that he was, so, we shuffled through a few tunes, and Prince walks in. And the funny thing was, I think the reason why he relaxed with me, because I didn't have time to freak out. We were on a break.
Oh, okay.
And, my back was to the door, and Levi, he's doing this, I had a piece of chicken in my right hand.
Okay.
I was eating, and he go, oh man, he turned around. Oh, here's Prince, Prince John, like, nice to meet you. Okay, give him I had to give him my hand. And he was kind of nice to meet you. He was gonna take him back a little bit, because I didn't have time. So that was kind of cool, because I definitely would have been a little nervous and shaken. So we talk a little bit, and he goes, okay, let's play some music. We go on a bandstand. He sits on the anvil case, and remember, the tunes are numbers. So first thing he does for me, he goes, and I'm like, oh, okay. So I'm stalling. They waiting for me to count it off, but I'm really stalling because I have no idea what that is. I don't know what song it is. So, Eric looks around, and I'm like, so he kind of, acts like he's warming up, and he plays the head for me. I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord. Oh. So I kick it off. I play it. We get through that song. No reaction. another baseball signal. Okay.
Right. That's right. And changing singles every game.
Woo! And like I have same thing. I have no idea what that is. And Eric knows, that I'm in trouble. And the other thing that was cool is that we had, Kirk, Tony, and Damien were there dancing. The dancers were there. So
Damon was just on the show. Yeah.
That's my guy, Drew.
Yeah.
They kind of took up a little space and time for me to get it together too, because they knew each other well. They've been around since before Purple Rain, so that kind of helped camouflage that I had no idea what that song was.
Right.
So I get through that. Again, no reaction. So I thought that I was okay. I started, feeling okay, getting a little comfortable because the band gelled rather quickly for an audition,
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes, so this one song, I think it's 15. I wouldn't remember exactly, but there's a point in the middle where Matt and Levi are playing Farajaka. Me and Eric, we play chopsticks.
Okay.
So you got 3 against 4. Ding, 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 the right, right. So we play that, and I'm just, concentrating on getting through that section because the tune was relatively, it was an up-tempo tune. And so he wants us to play that song again. I know people want me to imitate his voice, but it's too early in the morning. But it's funny. It's funnier when I do his voice. But he goes, on bar 82, I want you to hit that symbol right there.
Wow.
Like, okay, cool. I can count. But after we got through with chopsticks and various, I had no idea where I was. So we in the vamp, and I go, I hit the circle, right? And this is when I knew I may be okay. He went like this. That's it. That's all he gave me. We took a break. 3 days later, I got a per diem check. I'm like, okay.
Wow. So that rehearsal and everything was building up to some European dates, right?
Right, which didn't happen for Madhouse. That's when they went and did the Sign of the Times, and
right.
I was missing. And the last conversation that was relatively pleasant that I had with him, where they were looking for me. I'm kind of was like a little vagabond right in there. We were going to do a video, and they were calling, and I had no idea. So I'm at this club in LA doing something that I never do, which is dance.
Okay.
I don't dance. I'm in this club, chilling, and it gets dark. And I turn around, and this 6'9" guy that's 6'9" both ways taps me on the shoulder and he goes, Prince wants to talk to you. I'm like, oh man, I thought, my days of old had caught up to me. So he goes, oh no, Prince. And he's sitting up there, on the steps. So I go up there and I'm cautious because, he always wears these boots. I'm like, man, I might, might get one in the neck or something. Hey, how you doing? You all right? Yeah, he's like, what's going on? We've been calling you. Do you want to work? I'm like, yes, sir. Are you kidding me? I'm like, what's going on? Because they wanted to do a video. So I asked them about the record. Oh man, which one was it? Was it?
It was 8, 16, and then one unreleased one.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't remember which record he was working on then, but I asked him about that, and that's when he opened up. It's, oh man, this is some of the best stuff I ever I ever worked on. It was cool. See you in Minneapolis. Cool. I imagined that I got the call because I was just all over the place, and next thing I knew, the video came out and Miko was playing drums on it.
Was that the one with the bank robber scene and everything?
No, that's the one I did.
Oh, you did that one. Okay.
And I did a cameo too. I was a police officer that got shot.
Yeah. Right. There's got to be some more of that footage in the vault.
Man, yeah, because they shot.
It's in California now.
Yeah, they shot that one scene when I got shot about 10 times. I was my own stunt man, and my elbow still hurting for that.
You got to pull that one up, man. We got to get a clip of that on the show too.
That's right. Yeah.
That was his acting debut. So,
It was terrible too. They were laughing at me. Chris was telling Kat, John looks like Roger. I'm like, really? Like,
Yeah.
Okay,
There you go.
right. What am I going to say back?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Don't ever call me Roger.
No.
Stop back. Yeah. Just take it and move on. Act like
Yeah.
So I got to talk. We'll move along right now to the Purple Rain tour. I saw it about 5 times.
Whoa.
The Purple Rain tour, and 3 times at the Nassau Coliseum. I saw it in Philly twice.
Wow.
But I don't know if you remember this gig. They put the last gig as a matinee show because Prince had to fly for the Oscars the next day.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you remember that, but anyways, we had tickets. Actually, we slept out for tickets for.
Wow.
It was nuts. Nassau Coliseum in Long Island. But
Yeah.
that was when Will Call was not together like it is now. That was, we're outside waiting. The line's packed to pick up tickets on matinee, and I'm hearing Sheila set start. We listened to Sheila E set
God.
all out in the parking lot through the doors. We're still out there. We hear 17 Days Prince open up with, and then we just said, F it. We, me and my friend started driving back to Connecticut, and then we said, no, we're going back. We went back, and the security guy, we pleaded our case. We said we had tickets, we couldn't pick them up. He let us in for the encore. So
What?
yeah. So
Oh my goodness.
but I remember you guys did it was an encore with some of the songs from Around the World in a Day. The house lights went up. Another one of the shows.
Oh my goodness.
I think St. Paul Peterson came on stage, and
Oh yeah.
it was a jam. Yeah.
My goodness. Paul would come out every once in a while. Prince would have him come out and do a little cameo and hang out on the tour. But yeah, it's a bit of a fog now, Joe,
Yeah.
about because we did so much.
Oh yeah, I know.
So small amount of time, and it was. People send me recordings and videos and different things, because everything's a mess now. Everything's all out, and
Yeah.
just really, it's really sad, because a lot of that stuff it wasn't for the public, but as soon as he passed on, everybody's gone crazy. But I hear and I see stuff, I'm like, man, I do not remember that at all. I'm
Too much information in the computer in the head, right?
Yeah, like you said, it's 40 some years ago. So It's like, oh my God. I mean, so much has taken place since then. But yeah, we did random stuff, I mean, for instance, we were playing, I can't remember. I think it was somewhere in Ohio. We was and we had been rehearsing Temptation with the Revolution.
Right.
Prince had me rehearsing with them in sound check, and as soon as we finished sound check, right before the show started, Alan Lees comes up and said, "Hey man, pack a bag, Prince. We're leaving after the show to head to LA." Like what? Mind you, it's like snowing. It's like ridiculous weather where we were. So that happened. Got to LA, straight to we went straight to the Jackson's final concert of the Victory. Victory tour, and that was another story in itself, but it was great. But then we camped out for about 3 days because we had days off, and that's where Prince decided he wanted to record Temptation. He didn't want to use the Revolution. So he just took me along, and actually Sheila and Jerome went as well. She didn't play on anything, but it was just me and him tracking that song.
Was that at Sunset Sound?
No, that was at Capitol Records.
Oh, okay.
Everything else was at Sunset. Yeah,
right.
Sunset Sound. Yeah, that was his favorite spot to go to.
So as playing the horn parts, did he kind of? We had Atlanta Bliss on the show a few weeks ago.
Oh my God!
Yeah, great guy, real gentleman, cool guy. But he was talking about something the way Prince with the horn players, he would like sound some parts out and then let you do your thing, or you know, how did he work with a saxophonist, for example?
The great thing with Prince, well, it worked for most horn players, but it definitely worked for me. Prince didn't play horn, or he had horn ideas, but that's what you would hear on LBX when he played like the stabs, and that was kind of emulating his horn section and stuff. But he didn't actually have thank God he didn't have the skill to play, or never, I guess he didn't desire, because he played everything else, and he played whatever he played.
I did hear one rumor that on a demo he played saxophone. Jill Jones had mentioned, I forget which song, Dwayne Tudall's book.
Jill,
but I don't know. Matt Fink was really curious about like hearing if he ever played sax. I guess it's like
I would like to hear that too. I would like to hear that, because I never heard of him trying to pick up a horn.
Right. But I guess he didn't play the actual part on the record, which was released. But yeah, talk more about recording in the studio.
So he trusted people. I mean, and I was there early on. Eric Leeds was the first horn player before me. He had already recorded the Family's album, and Eric was all over it. Matter of fact, he used to throw Eric in my face, and I didn't even know Eric, and I didn't even really know who he was or what he was. And I was like, who is this? We'd be in rehearsal, and we come in to the warehouse, and he's blasting the Family record, and Eric is just killing it. And so actually, I'll divert a little bit, but we ended up on that Purple Rain tour. I was playing every night with them at the end of the I Will Die For You, Baby, I'm a Star, whatever.
Right.
And one particular night, I looked to my left, and here's somebody with a saxophone, and like I'll just see a tall guy with a meter on the brim and a saxophone, and it's just like looks like from my distance, it looked like just a little silhouette. And then we get through playing. I was like, who is that with a saxophone? It's like, Eric, blow your horn. I was like, that's Eric. I'm trying to dance and like, what the hell is going on? And Eric kills it, right? And then that's how Prince did things back then. But he kills it, then he comes, Eddie, blow your horn. So it was this little.
And Sheila would say, Eddie, play your horn, grandson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I got all these calls. But at the end of the day, that's when I learned of Eric. But Eric was always kind of thrown at me in the beginning. But Prince took a liking to me as we were out there. I mean, my first actual session with him was the ladder.
Oh, okay.
And that was, we had just finished our kind of pre-production in St. Paul. We were getting ready for Purple Rain, and he basically was on the stage, and then we had finished our show rehearsal, and I'm walking around trying to find some food or something. Next thing I hear, Eddie to the stage. Eddie to the stage. I'm like, why is he calling me? I don't, just finished playing. I got an attitude. And so I go get my horn and run to the stage, and they're playing, the ladder. And he said, just play. And I'm, okay. So we played for about an hour or whatever. And then Jerome comes to the stage and says, Eddie, come here. He grabs me, and we run outside. And I'm like, where are you taking me, man? This is like an adventure, right? And he takes me to this big mobile recording truck that Prince had. I had no idea about mobile recording at that time. I'm like, what are you taking me to this truck for? We walked inside, big old studio. He recorded that song. And I'm hearing myself play. I'm like, how did that happen?
Yeah. So what arena were you in when it was recorded?
That was pre-production in St. Paul.
Okay.
We were doing all the pre-production at this auditorium in St. Paul.
Did he have a fall in the bathtub?
Yes.
I remember hearing us. Oh, okay. Were you there for that? Or?
I was there. I didn't witness it. I was somewhere probably, running my mouth or something. But yeah,
he would have laughed.
The next day he had a big Band-Aid. He had a Band-Aid like over the scar. But yeah, he took a fall.
Yeah, I read about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. It was, but he was such a strong guy. This guy would beat his body up daily out there.
Yeah.
And the stuff that he, diving off those speakers and, running
those
into
high heels. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but he was such a strong cat back there. I mean, he was a daredevil.
Right.
And,
So another guy you had affiliate from the Minneapolis State, both of you. We could see both of you in the Love Struck video. Jesse Johnson. Yeah. We had Jesse on the show years ago. I'll tell you my experience. But Jesse Johnson, great guitarist. And how'd you guys get hooked up with Jesse?
Oh, goodness. Well, Jesse, I don't know how he found me. Well, he located me and he was working on the Love Struck record. He said, Eddie, can you come out here I just want to record. I'm recording, and so he flew.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
John's better at. Now John can do everyone. So I'll just do it.
Yeah, that sound. I was hearing him a little there.
John's better at that. Way better than me. He'll get to it. But he called me out, and I stayed with him maybe a couple of weeks. And recorded that record, and then he asked about John, and because he knew, Jesse, he's like, he knows everything and everybody, he knows what's going on. So I was like, okay, yeah, man, let's call John. And next thing you know, John, me and him was shooting a video, and he ended up hiring our band, our top 40 band, and we took that record on the road, Love Struck record. We toured with that.
I saw him, the band before you guys hooked up with Jesse, with mostly Minneapolis.
Oh yeah,
Tim Bradley, and we saw him at the Ritz, Webster Hall there. Yeah.
Oh yeah. He had the Minneapolis boys, but Jesse's never happy. He was searching for something, so he flew out and seen our band. We had a little rehearsal spot, and he came in, and we kind of just played for him, and he was like, "Okay, I want to hire the whole band." So he took our whole band besides one person. But at the end of the day, he felt, and it was brutal. Jesse was a bit, I don't know, John, was he as wild as Prince was with rehearsals or?
Yeah, I would say yeah, because half the time you didn't know what it was that he was so mad about that he wanted. Prince would, what he wants, and it would not be like, God, dog, do I suck that bad?
Right.
You knew what it was. With Jesse, you would have no idea. He would be mad at somebody else and be looking at you.
Right, that's true.
And I want to do it so bad, but I love him. I'm not going to do it.
Come on.
We had a conversation, and I knew I was in trouble.
Come on, Jesse Paris.
That's right.
He beat the hell out of us, man, but we got it right.
Yeah.
We got it right.
So did you do a lot of dates with that band, or were they sporadic?
Was not. We did more rehearsing than actually tour dates.
Yeah.
We were out for maybe a couple of months, John.
Yeah.
But we rehearsed like 2 or 3 months. We in San Rafael, Jesse and Kim came out here to California, and it was brutal. We did 12 hours rehearsals, 6-7 days a week.
Did you do the Budweiser Superfest in MSG?
I don't think so.
Maybe that was before. Yeah, because I saw Jesse on the Budweiser Superfest.
Yeah,
Did
we do the Bud Fest with Karen though, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, we did a lot of the Budweiser, Al Heyman.
Yeah, I'll tell you my brief Jesse Johnson experience. He was great to have on and everything, but it was. You ever see that sketch on Saturday Night Live? Chris Farley, the motivational speaker, drinking coffee down in the basement. Then he comes up and does his thing. I did the intro, and all of a sudden I'm hearing electric guitar playing to start off, and it's Jesse just jamming before he even speaks.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, it was good. I got the tape in the closet. I got to convert it to digital and upload it. Yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be great.
Oh, you know, it's gonna sound amazing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Always playing.
Man, you talking about a field pocket genius, man. That dude's he would demonstrate the difference in how he wanted it to feel, and you would know right away. Ooh, you get in it. You know, that dude's got a current with him, man. That's just remarkable.
Yeah,
you guys mentioned Prince being the one you were shaking in your boots. I met Prince, but it was at a record signing in New York, and I talked to him online a bunch of times, conversation. But it was like the group that I was shaking my boots was Meeting the Time the first time backstage, because all of a sudden you walk in the dressing room and there's your like guys you followed all your life, and
absolutely
they're right in front of you. So. Yeah.
Yes.
But you guys are all friends with the guys from the time.
Yeah.
Jellybean's a mutual friend. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guy, man. Love us some Bean. I'm trying to remember. I think I met Bean first. We went to some show they were doing, and Sheila had us go to some show. I met Bean and Jesse that day. It's like I think 5-ish or something like that.
Yeah, we're real. We stayed connected. Matter of fact, we pretty much text every day.
Yeah, you did a New York gig with him, right?
Yeah,
Cutting Room. Yeah,
we did a couple of those. Probably going to do some this year. But Bean's our guy. He's the sweetest man.
Yeah. We just had Monte Moir on the show. Yeah,
Monte's a sweetheart too.
Yeah, all nice guys. Yeah,
I saw that show. That was a great show. Great show.
I appreciate. Yeah.
Oh man, gotta check Monte. I got to see that show. I did see it in the archives.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it. So, and one thing I got to give credit, like, I mean, you guys have seen everything in the business. You could tell stories for days, but the Minneapolis cats in the time, clean living people, you go backstage, you don't see anybody passed out on the couch and stuff like that. And, you know, and you guys have been around a lot of stuff. The entertainment business is tough. So, yeah,
absolutely.
So credit to the guys still doing it and still doing it the right way. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the one thing Prince taught, and he didn't allow for as far as he could see.
Mm-hmm.
You had to uphold your position by being on top of things. You know, it was funny for us, and you know, John had to experience it too to a degree. You know, we had to have our own makeup cases. And we were like, "What the hell? We put on makeup for? We just wake it up." You know, and we had to put makeup on and make sure if we left our room to go down in the lobby, we had to be dressed. You wasn't coming in sweatsuits and all that kind of stuff. It was like he wanted you to be prepared if paparazzi or anybody was taking pictures. You had to look the part. And I think the dress code made a difference, and it's like etiquette, you know, just you know, proper etiquette. It taught us, you know, don't mess up. You know, guidelines. So I respect and appreciate that, and that's what we did at the time.
So you never got an endorsement from a big cosmetic line? Estee Lauder,
Maybelline. We should have.
Yeah, you missed the opportunity for some extra money.
I'll send you a picture
for the touring musician.
Oh my God, we had to do it. It was great. I mean, I'll never forget about her. I'll tell you quickly, but she wanted to go. We had to go to the Grammys one year. We weren't playing, and she wanted me and Carl Pedazzo to go with her. So she made us wear our uniforms. And I don't know if you remember the uniform. I had a long cape with coins going across my chest.
Right, yeah.
Man, and Carl was dressed like you know he had the Latino type suit, but he had the red stripe in his hair. I mean, we were dressed like we were doing a show.
Right.
And I felt like, what the hell? You walking down the aisle, you know, we were guests. We were just, and I'll never forget, that was the first night I met Michael Jackson. So we go to the Le Dome restaurant afterwards because Lionel Richie was there and Sheila was close with Lionel. They worked together for years. But anyway, he was in the room with Michael Jackson and Elizabeth Taylor. And we were like, oh, man, this is Michael's here. We never met him. So Lionel takes us, kind of peeks through the door and lets us in for a second. And the first thing Michael says, "I like your outfit."
He was with Prince?
No, it was Lionel, Elizabeth Taylor, and Michael having a
okay.
side room where they were just having
okay. Right.
soup or something, but they weren't eating anything. But it was, that was dinner for them. But
right.
I'm like, I finally meet Michael Jackson, and I'm looking like a freak. I just left the circus. I'm like, like you making jokes about me, man.
I like your outfit. So maybe you inspired him. You could see later years that maybe the Yeti.
No, he didn't wear any robe or big with coins. Well, he did have coins, but he didn't have a long, gladiator robe or, hitting the ground. I was like, first, man. But hey, that was a part, man.
Yeah. At least you were there. You guys have rubbed shoulders and great musicians, all of you. So, Absolutely. Hey, I got to ask, moving on to John's, you guys have both played tremendous high profile gigs, but John with Patti LaBelle, and then we'll move on to the drum kit that you've held for, 24 years, coming up on 25 or close to it for Earth, Wind & Fire. The Elements as a DJ when I first got into radio used to say Earth, Wind & Fire. First, let's talk about Patti LaBelle. We're good friends with John Blackwell, and I know he played for Patti. When was probably after you, right?
Yeah. That was my little brother.
Yeah.
Well, we had an opportunity to do a television show here, which would have been local for me, which was our whole band with Sheila. Sheila was MD, it was a magic hour. So I'm doing that. My daughter was 3 years old, and I wanted to be hands-on. So I'm like, okay, I have to find a guy that would come in here that would understand the James Brown type cues that Patti LaBelle's musical director was given. James Bud Ellison, by the way, he was a genius. He was amazing. But he was, you had to watch him all the time. Tempo change, breakdown, all kinds of stuff, right? Who could I call? And the very first person that came to mind was John.
Wow.
John Blackwell. I saw him when he was playing with Cameo, and I introduced myself because I'd really never seen anything like that. He was too young to be playing like that. And he looked at me and started singing these Patti LaBelle intros and in and outs and stuff. I'm like, you know me? You know who I am? I couldn't believe it. I was blown away. So we clicked right away. That was my guy. So I had to think of somebody that they was just going to totally forget about me with, called John, to come in for Patti. And Prince would always be sneaking around anyways. He loved Patti, and he would always come to shows, and he continued that. And that's how he saw John playing with Patti.
For Patti, yeah. Wow. Yeah, it was funny because, you talk about like the mega stars and how things are run. John used to call me up and he would talk. He never mentioned Prince's name on the telephone. It was always your boy. I'm in the studio. I'm up in Minneapolis. Your boys, we're waiting for this and his money or blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking it's like it was the mafia and the phones were tapped.
Don't say it.
Yeah. So that, but yeah, the last time I spoke to him was January 1st, the year that he passed away. He called up and he was asking help for his wife about getting in some voiceover work. And, I said, how you doing? He says, I'm just trying to learn how to walk. So
yeah.
It
was heavy. Yeah, he called me. It was probably like 3:00 in the morning singing this Patti LaBelle. There was this one intro that we would do that, the drums were just like, they weren't on any time, but the director would. So I would just go crazy. So he would call up singing that to me on the phone. When your phone rings at 3 in, you're answering. Okay, either somebody's dead or my house is on fire and I don't know it.
Right.
I answer the phone and it's Blackwell. Here, I'm like, John. So he would do the whole thing before he would say a word to me.
Yeah, I don't think he had any concept of time and stuff like that. He did call me, he goes, I've been working on some new music. I want you just to listen to some of it. He started the first track, played the whole album straight through, the one with Charlie Singleton on it. And I didn't want to be rude and say I gotta go walk the dog or something like that. But he just played it straight through. Oh, what do you think of this? Or maybe he narrated in between tracks.
Oh man, that's hilarious. Oh.
So with the Earth, Wind and Fire drum seat, was it from Patti to Earth, Wind and Fire?
Well, actually the Patti LaBelle story is actually pretty interesting too, because she was needing a sub for 3 weeks because their drummer was out with someone else and they had done pre-production in the whole nine. And Patti actually called Sheila to do it.
I didn't know that one, Jay.
Yeah. Sheila was supposed to do the 3 weeks, but she's like, I can't do it because I'm out with Prince, but my drummer can do it. Called me up, came out, an audition, and things went well. But, it was kind of a turbulent time for me during that because my mother knew Sarah. Sarah lived in Trenton, not too far from us. So I was going to, surprise her, with either I got it or I didn't get it. Guess what I was hanging out with, Patti LaBelle. But unfortunately, she passed before I got the news that I had the gig or not. I didn't have, but once I got it, that was a great, it kept me working and kept my mind off of, the celebration of, what my mother would have loved that. But, I feel her, and it was really cool to get that gig. But that's how that happened. I was really just supposed to be a sub. It turned into 8 years.
Yeah, and high profile, and then on to Earth, Wind and Fire, which flashy costumes. Well, you're kind of toned down compared to the rest of the band was in the 70s, right?
Yeah, because and thank God, because those costumes were heavy, man. I can't afford to lose any more weight. I don't need, but that was so Robert Brookins.
Oh yeah,
rest in peace. And that was really the key for my connection. Because Maurice had been mentoring Robert since he was like 8 years old or something. So he had a great trusting relationship with them. So Robert became Philip's MD. Philip would do his solo gigs, had a lot more, jazz stuff in it. But you can't be a member of Earth, Wind and Fire and do anything else and not do some Earth, Wind and Fire. So his set was at least 6 Earth, Wind and Fire songs with the same arrangements. So that's when I got the opportunity to play for Philip's band through Robert, of course, that's when they knew I could do it. So that's how the opportunity came for me. And it was another kind of like emergency type of a situation. But, I'd been playing that music with bands, my whole life. So I knew what that was. But when that opportunity came, Philip, I got to tell you this really quick.
Right.
They were in a pinch and they were in New York in a cab, but I have no idea what's happening. Philip is calling me. Not Philip, Robert's calling me going, hey, we need you to come out here and beat these drums. I'm thinking he's thinking about Philip. So I'm like, hey, cool. Where we going? Where we going? Japan or whatever? He's like, no, it's with Earth, Wind and Fire. I'm like, man, I don't have time for this. I hung up.
Stop playing.
Robert's a prankster, by the way. He's a prankster. And I'm in Phoenix at this what was it? Eddie Chatone, right?
Oh,
recorded
that's right.
Wayman Tisdale's record.
Yeah,
the engineer, our guy Otto.
Yeah.
I run into him at this NAMM show and he says, I got a project, man, I think you'd be great for. It was this rock record. And I was really excited about that because I didn't really get a chance to do this. And these prolific writers from Phoenix writing these great songs. We're 25 tunes in. And I'm like, yeah, man, I had hair back then. I'm going to be the black dude in the rock band. I was excited,
Right.
So Robert calls back and he goes, man, I'm serious. We need you to come out here. I was like, Robert, stop playing with me. I don't have time for this. I hung up again. So now he's pissed. He calls up, but he don't want me to know for some reason that Philip's in there because he's MDing. He MDing, he's being the MD.
Right.
And blah, 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 this and that and the other. And I'm pretty good with voices. And this is how God works. Philip says tell him if he can do it, we're gonna stop looking. And that's when that feeling you get, like, man,
Yeah, yeah.
my whole body just ran cold. It's like, oh, it's real. It's like, it's really serious. So I almost lost that gig hanging up on the musical director.
Wow. That close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, one more time, I probably wouldn't be on this interview right now.
No, you never.
It'll take a total different turn,
right.
but that's how that happened.
Now, what's your affiliation working with Bob Dylan? Because that's pretty cool.
Now, see, there's a misprint.
Oh, okay.
But Bob Dylan.
However, we were at Sunset Sound, working on. I think. Robert had called us to do. I don't know if she want us to know this, but we were working on a Kim Basinger record, doing some overdubs. I think he called Eddie and Robert.
Was it the other girl?
You're right. No, you're right. It was Dale Bozio.
Dale Bozio, yeah. Terry, the drummer, yeah.
Exactly right. We did do something for Kim, but this time it was Dale Bozio, right, Eddie? So if you know about Sunset Sound, it has a basketball court out there. So I love basketball. I go out there and I'm shooting around. On the break, I'm shooting around, and it's dark now. It gets dark, you can't really see, and I see this figure come out, and he's heading toward the basketball court. So I throw him the ball. He's shooting nowhere near the basket. Let me give him another one. Shoots it. It goes over the backboard. Now it's getting hilarious to me. I'm throwing it to him, and he's just like, "Is this guy blind or something?" And he's throwing the ball. He's shooting. Now I'm like, okay, now I'm like the ball boy. This is getting ridiculous. I throw it to him one more time, and he says, this is the only place I know that you can shoot at a basketball court and see the stars. Oh, snap. I'm shooting basketball with Bob Dylan.
Ridiculous.
Oh my, that's the connection. I never played on his record. I wish I did.
But you taught him how to drain the three, right?
I never teach him. It was hopeless. That part was hopeless. He wasn't gonna catch. Such a beautiful person. You could feel it. I could feel the energy. That's why I kept feeding him the ball. What a beautiful soul, man. And we just talked about music and while we were there. And it was so cool, man.
Well, another thing that's ultra cool is you guys have known each other. I know we've gone through the whole history of you guys and still friends, still working with each other, still smiling and laughing.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No.
But yeah,
that's my brother there, real brother.
Yeah, we talked about it in the intro about your project you're currently working on, have released music, the single Manhattan Blue. Also, you re-record a song for your buddy, the late great Wayman Tisdale, after the game. So let's get into back to basics and the DOA on production and all the other stuff going on. What's the genesis of that project and what have you been doing with it lately?
Well, back to basics is basically me and John. We actually started this idea some years ago and got really focused on it when COVID kicked in, because everybody was like, "What are we going to do with this time?"
Right.
We're playing. So, but we had already started recording different things, and we had a song that we titled and we called it Back to Basics. So through COVID, we were thinking, "Oh man, let's just finish the project and do well, what are we going to call it?" And we both just had a ding, let's call it Back to Basics. And we basically wanted to label the whole project that way because it's speaking about our beginnings together a bit before and when we came together and to this point, because we had done so much in this industry together, separately and together, that we wanted to actually we're in the process of writing a book about our lives together, and all these stories we're only giving you a snippet of stories, but it'll be but it's going to sum this whole project up. It may have to be 2 books, but at any rate, we're starting with the book, and it's going to match the recording.
Yeah, I saw some clips you guys going back and showing the sites and you guys growing up. Where can people? I mean, it's on YouTube, but is it on your respective sites?
We did.
When you're in the Tesla
story.
Yeah.
That's little snippets of what's showing up. This book is going to break it all down, and it's going to talk about our beginnings, and it's going to show pictures where we grew up, and it's going to tell the whole story from the beginning. We felt we wanted to leave something for our great grandchildren, and we want to leave a message, and we also want to encourage and inspire kids that are trying to go at this. That is our responsibility. We're blessed to work with some incredible people and still doing that, and we want to pass on what we gain from it and leave it into these kids' hands. That's our responsibility, because we've done a lot of stuff, and,
right.
And the kids need to know how to get there, how to achieve it, and how to attain it, and keep it, fresh, to stay in this for as long as we have been. But we've been blessed, so we want to bless others. So
where's the best? We'll have it in the links in our description on both audio and video sites we have. But to purchase the music and to keep up to date on Back to Basics, John and Eddie, where's the best place?
All streaming platforms: Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, you name it. We're on all streaming platforms. And the first single, we must talk a little bit about that. John could share about Tisdale, why we went about that. The Tisdale song.
Yeah, we basically just wanted to say hello to all the people that helped us along the way. There's so many people that loved on us. We could do 3 or 4 projects before we just start writing songs, that come out of our head. But we could say thank you for another 5, 6 CDs.
Yeah.
First person that came to our head was Wayman. First person right away, because if you've ever met him, this guy got a smile like Magic Johnson. Is real. He was so loving and giving. He gave us his time, let us do whatever we wanted in the studio. He wanted it, like he treated it like a band. And we just never forgot the time that he gave us, man, with our family. Hey, shout out to Gina.
Yeah,
Gina. Big Bubba. And the rest of the family, we became a part of the Tisdales out there, man. And we just had such a warm vibration from him, man, that we just had to say thank you for his time. And the first person we thought of was Wayman. So we like, wow, why don't we just do that song? We all played on that original recording from the first record, Power Forward. So that would be a cool one. Art Dixie wrote it along with Wayman, who ended up being part of our management team. So we're like, wow, this will be a cool little circle. And our sister, Cy Smith, who just
great singer,
killed the vocals. It was amazing. And that's when we knew we had something. And we're like, okay, we can do this. This could be really fun. So we have some more features that we're doing with actual. Not like, hey, who would be good for this? These are like people we came up with in the industry as kids, and that we've, spent a lot of time with, which is, man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a very rare thing. So we just wanted to take advantage of that and love on our people,
And that's what we did. And DOA, of course, he worked with Wayman as well.
Right.
He taught Wayman a great deal of bass and production.
Ooh,
so we thought we can't.
Another story too. We'll tell you about.
It's like right there. So DOA came in and played all the bass parts, helped produce, and it just was a big part of that song. I want everybody to grab that because it's a masterpiece. And what Cy Smith and DOA brought to it, it was just incredible. So that leads us to our next single, which is out right now. You mentioned Manhattan Blue.
Yeah, real nice,
Oh,
smoothed out version. Yeah.
that was one that came to DOA started, and he sent me the track. DOA sends me things. Hey man, what you think about this? Can you play on this, man? And we kind of do stuff like that. And I when I heard it, I was like, man, this is a soundtrack. I don't know
Yeah.
what we're gonna do with this. This is like it kind of just had you tearing up, and that was just in demo mode.
Wow.
And so me and John took it and we just started adding to it. And we thought about who can we get to sing. And I'm like, man, you know what, John, we should grab Side. I mean, I'm talking about after the game, but we talked about orchestration. So we grabbed a girl. She's our hero. Her name is Nicole Neely. She's an incredible arranger and just the sweetest woman on this planet. She's blessing a lot of people with her gifts right now. But Nicole Neely, she does all the orchestration and tour with Lauryn Hill currently, but she's amazing. So we called her. She did the orchestration.
All real strings.
All
Real stuff. Yeah, that's right.
Real.
Everything is just really came together on that song. And the feel of it, Derek, when he sent it to me, he was like, man, just the thought about being in Manhattan, it's blue, smoky room with some, soft things happening in the background. So that came about. We kept it to what it was, Manhattan Blue. And it's doing a lot. It's making moves, and we're actually still in the midst of promoting it and getting it out there even more so right now, first of the year. So.
Yeah, I think you got a great sound on that one.
Thank you.
And you guys, in between getting back out on the road and stuff, I'm sure you guys are. Come on, we got to record, right? Where do you record when you're both back in the Bay Area?
Kind of everywhere.
Oh, everywhere.
Well, we start. Of course, John has his. John and I have our separate production studios, so we start ideas, and we just send a lot of files, and we end up in the studio tracking. Especially with John, live drums and all. And then whatever production we need to add. So wherever we are, we can, between here and LA, we just go in and get whatever we need for us to live. But we're in the process of finishing the EP because by the third quarter, we should be dropping the whole album, the whole CD, and as well as close to being done with the book. So.
Yeah.
But we have some real cool bangers coming out after this second quarter. Y'all got to be. It's coming.
And DOA is going to be on another one that we did. That's a dedication to our brother Robert too.
Yeah.
Man, let me let y'all know something about DOA that y'all. This dude he's one of the most phenomenal musicians. Absolutely. And his production skill. I can't believe he was my roommate all the time.
Yes,
he's phenomenal. So shout out to our brother Derek DOA Allen, man. That guy. And I mean, whenever we need him, he's right there. Never know what y'all need. I mean, that's
and DOA is part of a trivia question. Who are the two musicians from the Bay Area who filled in on the time when they went to Yokohama, Japan? There you go.
BG.
Yeah, Bobby G and DOA. Yeah, and Morris Hayes. Morris Hayes was there too, but he's from Arkansas. Yeah,
absolutely.
Hey, the Bay Area. I mean, when I'm, of course, we're not out there, but when we see you guys play live and the jams, I mean, the Chucky Booker I think it was at Yoshi's, right?
Yeah.
I mean, something about you guys in the Bay Area can throw down live, and it's like, wow. LA, J.R. Harris and stuff like that. You guys, what do you attribute, that great live presence when the goosebumps are coming up on our arms?
It's something about the Bay Area, and we always speak about how we were blessed to grow up here because we were so exposed to so many genres of music. I mean, on one radio station, you would catch Fleetwood Mac, and then you would catch Tower Power and then James Brown. So it was no separation going on when we were coming up in the Bay Area. You just got good music.
Yeah.
The majority of those, from Journey to Sly to, Santana, it was all Bay Area bass.
Yeah.
We thought that was happening everywhere, like it was here, but we realized that as we grew up, we were just blessed to be around that atmosphere. DOA basically started in the church.
Okay.
He was kind of the church player. When we met DOA, he just kind of went out to John pulled him in to Karen White. And from the moment we connected, just as brothers.
Yeah.
More so the musicians.
Yeah.
And we bonded and did a whole bunch of great stuff with Karen and many others. So it was just his playing is so different and unique.
Yes, sir.
And funky. It's just all that Chucky Booker stuff that he did with Chucky, from Janet to Chucky's records and other productions, and even his productions, is very unique in many ways. So we just been blessed to be around great people and become a brotherhood. And
yeah.
That's what we're celebrating. That's what we're celebrating now. So to have him a part of the Back to Basics project is amazing. I also want to give a quick shout out to Sean Rayford. Sean Rayford was on the writer on Manhattan Blue, and that's a saxophone artist that Derek's producing behind, and myself, we do some work with them a lot. So it's been a blessing to be exposed and have a lot of great family around here.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to 2025. You said the third quarter for the complete EP.
The complete, but right when that's released, we got a real big surprise coming on.
And then you got to come out with some dates,
Yeah, well, we're probably going to have some dates in between because we're building this up. But the next single is going to be a banger, and we'll share that with you real soon because that's coming out.
Yeah, we do radio too. So it's been an honor for both of you guys coming on. Reading you guys on the liner notes, because back when the albums were coming out, I see you guys in a lot of places, and to have you on the show, it's been a really great day for me. So
hey Joe, real quick question. How come I got a little J right there?
Because you spelt it like that, John.
Yeah. I didn't touch it.
It's not no typewriter.
Yeah. Well, when I edit it, I'll have to. No. Yeah. But you got Paris in all caps behind.
Oh, there you go. See,
there you go. Yeah. Yeah. So Eddie Minifield and John Paris, brothers, man. Thanks for coming by. Back to Basics. We'll have the links. People can get the music out now. And thanks for all those great memories since early 80s, 84. Keep on going strong. Hopefully we got a lot more. We'll all be here offering more.
Let's go. Let's do it.
We'll shoot you the next single because you already got the current one.
Right.
Shoot you that right before it comes, and so you can start.
We'll drop it. Yeah.
Dropping it.
We appreciate you, man. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, John. Thanks, Eddie.
For having us. All right, brother.
Thank you.
Peace.
All right.
All right.